Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is the 16th of July, 2020. I'm Roy Potter. Welcome as you come in. I've been gone for a few days and I'm not coming back quite yet. I'm prioritizing being with family at this time, and that's what we all should be doing because I think we may have been neglecting that with all this craziness that's going on. Again, hello as you come in. As I mentioned about, it's been over a week ago now, week and a half. This is a thank you, we the people, for letting me know it's 5 by 5. About a week and a half ago, I mentioned that this is a time of year where we do family reunion and, spend a lot of time with each other. And I won't be done with this. Hopefully, I'll never be done with it. But this formal get together is pretty much going to go on for another few days. So you can bet that I'm not going to do any formal live streams until probably next week. I'm not even sure it'll be Tuesday. It might be Thursday. However, not that my messages are all that important, but I have been quite active on Twitter, and I've also been posting things on my community tab here on YouTube. Again, you can go up in the top of the menu where it says home and all that about, and you can go over to community and click on that, and the little things that I post there, I do semi occasionally, and of course any updates that I think that are important I do on Twitter, and I've been putting them a lot on Parler as well. If I post to Twitter something special, I'll also post it to Parler if you have Parler going on. Again, hello everyone as you come in. So that's kind of where I am right now. Frankly, there's so many things going on, and there's so many people out there that are willing and able to cover the information. I can't even name them all. You all, if you're keeping your heads on a swivel, you'll know who those people are, and there are a lot of them. So there's nothing that you can't find out from anybody else. About the only thing I add is my commentary, I suppose, is usually all I put out. I don't think I ever really put out any new information. Occasionally I do. Yes, Second Amendment Cup. Donald Reed. Nancy has been knocking it out of the park. Absolutely. That's one reason why I decided to come on this morning. Nancy Morgan Hart of Headlines with a Voice, her last two posts did hit it out of the park. She didn't pull any punches. And as a matter of fact, I thought that was very well timed considering what a lot of people are starting to say. And that is, of course, that Trump is not who he says he is. And that makes a lot of people mad. And a lot of people think that he's the only hope that we've got because the whole system, which it is corrupt. But he's already proven that he has no interest in fixing it. That's all an illusion. It's all been an illusion. I'm adjusting the camera here a little bit, pardon me. And I am thoroughly convinced, as you all know, that he has been a willing participant in all of this to lead us carefully down to the chains of hell. But I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. Please go see Nancy Morgan Hart's last Headlines with a Voice, last two posts. She always says it well. Her graphics are great. They always help you to. Hello, Jesse, BP Earthwatch. She always has good graphics that really fit in with her theme. And so I would encourage you to go listen to that. And I will second everything that she said, and I support her 100% in her evaluation, analysis, and commentary. It's a sad state of affairs. It's like I've titled this thing, What a Mess We Have Got Ourselves Into. And we really have. And we can't look to governments to fix this, ladies and gentlemen, because they're part of the problem, as everyone has always said. I hoped for a long time that we could restore the republic, but we spent at least 3 or 4 decades allowing the Maoist and Marxist communists and leftists and criminals take over our governmental processes. Not that they haven't been there for a long time, but there was apparently a concerted effort, a decision to allow these things to promulgate. We just saw Secretary of Defense Esper start this diversity training at the Pentagon. And I thought it was amazing because, a lot of people, John Cardillo, I think, was one, Colonel Joe was another, there have been several, who pointed out that all of this is part of the unrestricted warfare that the Chinese started on us. Rich Higgins and Steve Coughlin of Unconstrained Analytics talk about. This is all part of the unrestricted warfare that the Chinese and leftist Maoists, the Bill Ayers, Weather Underground folks, and all those have been waging on us for a long time, using our own morality or our supposed morality against us, and absolutely being unrestricted, including bio and chemical attacks, which they're not done with yet, not by a long shot. So we're in a lot of trouble. Secretary Esper, with this diversity training in the Pentagon, the Chinese are laughing at us because we're taking ourselves down that road while they're gearing up and tooling up, and all at the direction of people like Esper. Esper hasn't fooled me. Neither has Milley. Neither has any of those generals that I've talked about. Nobody in the government that, like the Hillary Clintons and the Obamas, they've all been pushing for China to be the lead to the New World Order for a long time. So none of this surprises me. Then why would we go to war with China? Well, it still solves a lot of problems when you have a war, right? The people then, kind of get behind the president, and also you get to reduce the surface population to some extent. The banks and the arms manufacturers make money, as well as politicians, and you get rid of your dissenters that way. Look what China did during the Wuhan virus outbreak. They used that as a chance to clamp down on their dissenters. The same thing will happen here. Woodrow Wilson, when the First World War started, they came out with a statute that basically went after anybody that criticized the war. There was actually a filmmaker who made a film about a particular war, and he was arrested because they considered it to be anti-war. I mean, free speech has been out the window for over a century or more. It's all a lie. It's always been a lie. The founding fathers, I'm convinced, were serious, but they also said that we wouldn't be able to keep it without an intelligent, educated, and spiritually moral people, which disintegrated quite quickly. There was a Boston Globe reporter back in the early 1900s, and his statement was, no man ever remained poor who underestimated the taste and intelligence of the American people. Let me say that again. No man ever remained poor who underestimated the intelligence and taste of the American people. And unfortunately, it really is true. So I've been trying to make heads or tails and trying to figure Trump out for 3.5 years, almost 4 years now. Giving him a lot of benefits of the doubt. No, ladies and gentlemen, he's involved. And he's not involved because he didn't want to be. That's not the case. This last situation where he and Melania were wearing masks, knowing that it's a fraud, finally blew my cork, frankly. It finally blew my cork. And, I don't block people on Twitter as a matter of anger or of, I'll get you or take that or, those types of things, I don't use it for that. I block people that I find to be totally uninteresting liars and deceivers. And that's what Trump is. And it turns out Melania, I don't know why she went along with this. Maybe somebody threatened her. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. Or maybe she has been chipped with an AI. Hell, I don't know. But knowing what Fauci has done, and Trump allowed him to do it, everybody's saying, oh, bad Fauci, bad Fauci, bad Fauci, bad Birx, bad Birx. Still not really calling out Gates as much as they should. Hey, Trump gave him his bully pulpit, and I said that right from the start. So Fauci's a criminal. Birx went along with it. Gates is behind it, and so is Soros, and of course a bunch of other people up the line. And Trump is in bed with him, and nobody's going to convince me otherwise. So I blocked the SOB. I blocked it because I don't need his garbage and his nonsense to get on my Twitter line and interfere with what I'm doing. Because what he's doing is, it's evil. I'm sorry, it's evil. And that's another reason why I've kind of slowed down on doing these things. I mean, I've done this several times where we've gone out, I've gone out and I've explained all this and I've talked about it and warned people. And all I get back was, "Who else are you going to vote for?" Kind of doing a character, I guess, of Mark Pantano, though. Who else are you going to vote for? Right? Well, the system's broken, ladies and gentlemen. Voting's not going to fix it. And we just have to admit that it's not. I appreciate people that are still saying, let's try to make the best we can. I took it personally the other day. I won't tell you who did it, but I saw a tweet on the Twitter line not long after I said that I was done with Trump. And this organization or person, whoever it is, said, the doomsayers, they need to stop because, there's still a lot of actions we can take. That's the problem. You see, you've got these people that are so optimistic that they can't see the destruction as they're sitting on the railroad tracks and the locomotive is 100 yards away. They still think that they can fix it. So I put up two, and I'm sorry to be pessimistic about this, but it's just obvious, ladies and gentlemen. I was talking to someone on the phone a few days ago, and they said, 100 years ago, even back in the Revolutionary War time, even 100 years ago, the people stood a chance against this thing. But now you don't. I'm just telling you, you don't. Look what they're doing with the banking system. They're not stopping cash exchanges in Walmart and these other stores because there's a shortage of coins. That's bullshit. It's incrementalism again. They're taking the cash away from you so they can get you into the digital currency system. And I think most people that have an understanding realize that. These governments are not your friends. A lot of people say, well, this will make it so they can't do any more human or sex trafficking or drug trafficking. Wait a minute. Are you kidding me? They've been using the banking system as it is now, and the government didn't do anything to them. You don't think they'll just switch to some other currency? Even if it's digital, the banks will cover it up, the governments will cover it up. They're behind it. They're the elites that are pushing it. No, it's to control you so that you can't become competition to them, so that you can't stand up. Because their thing, it's like in the Lord of the Rings, their thing is just to control and be tyrants over all life. They're evil. So I blocked Trump. I don't want to hear from him anymore. I don't want to see his ugly face. I don't want to hear his ugly voice. He's a demon in disguise, and he's done a real good job on fooling us. No, I don't think he's a friend. And again, as I've said before, I've had a lot of friends that have now gotten really upset with me for taking this stand because they said, Roy, we just got to get Trump back in November. It doesn't matter who they get in. They're coming for you. They're coming for us. You don't take calls from Trump anymore, Edelson? I could tell you some personal things that have happened, but I guess I won't go there as far as some of the retributions that have been going on against me personally. But I'll just let those go. Just suffice it to say that they're happening, and it's very interesting that where the attacks are and what they are. I imagine it's probably going to happen to some of you too. Okay. We're in a mess, ladies and gentlemen. This is not going to get fixed. The mask thing is a training for occultic initiation into the new order. And it's not going to stop with just the masks, of course, as most of you know. It's going to go to the immunization, the vaccinations, which aren't really vaccinations. They are, of course, trying to change your DNA and implant you with tracking systems that the AI can link into. That's where this is going, and of course, then they'll be able to basically eliminate whoever they want. First, from using their scores like the Chinese do for keeping you from getting food or transportation or whatever, to down to where they just turn the switch off and you're done. That is where this is going. That's why I've asked that there be a governor somewhere who will step up and create a land of refuge that we can have competent cover of competent authority. The governor of South Dakota has done an awful lot, probably more than anybody I've seen, although Governor Kemp of Georgia has just stood up and said that he's not going to allow these mask mandates to go forward. Good for him. But look at Abbott, and other places. And of course, where the Democrats are is a real problem. They're taking us down, ladies and gentlemen. You just have to understand that. I'm not going to berate anybody here. I don't mean here. I mean just his anybody that let's just say is trying to say that this is salvageable. I appreciate that. I understand the hope. But when General Lee ordered the attack on the Union line at Gettysburg, did he really believe that hope would take them across a field with no cover, a mile across a field to the forward lines of the Union Army, facing cannon fire with canister, ball? Did he really think? Could he really believe that the hope that he had would carry them to the front line of the Union Army and defeat them at Seminary Ridge? Again, over an open field with no cover, not even concealment. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're in. We're in a field with no cover and concealment, and we've got to go across a whole mile. And there's nobody there to give us cover. Like I said, the governor of South Dakota and maybe Governor Kemp are the only ones standing up at this point that I see. And I won't go any further than that. David and Goliath, oh, sure. And that brings up another question. When Trump got into office, the first thing he started to do is talk about economics. And I said, that's the wrong approach. Yeah, when you have a full belly, you can do a lot more, then you can, it's the first survival instinct. You got to nourish yourself. There's some truth to that, but I was concerned that there was no principle being taught, that he was not standing for principles or teaching them. And that's really where we were lacking. Remember, Jesus said, when they asked him what he was going to eat, he said, I have bread that you know not of. And that, we need to feed our spirits even more than our bodies. And that was totally absent at the beginning of Trump's presidency. And that was one of the signs to me that there was something wrong. Trump, his name at the Golan Heights, as you know I've said, was spelled with a tet, meaning serpent. And I don't think that was an accident. I'm not sure how far down the road he is or what it is he is, but he believes that he's got the right to do what he's doing. And if you read the ancient texts, the evil side thinks it's doing right. It doesn't really think it's doing evil. It's so debased and has such a lack of character that it thinks that it can do what it does and that that's okay. Trump said it himself. He's never done anything he needs to repent of. It's all about him. Everything that he's exhibited, I'm afraid to say, everything has actually been of the dark side. It's actually been of the Luciferian side. I'm not saying he's the Antichrist, but something's terribly, terribly wrong. Yeah, the whole world's against him. How could he be? Well, these types of things can change very quickly depending upon how they're presented to the people. And I think we might see a change one way or another here before too long. But regardless, the spirit of the Antichrist is everywhere. The governments aren't going to save you. They're part of the problem, as I said. We've gotten ourselves in a situation where we haven't demanded that the government submit itself to the supreme law of the land that gave it breath in the first place. That's the Constitution. And we violated ourselves. As Mark Pantano points out, we're constitutionalists until our guy gets in there, and then the Constitution be damned. Let's just do it, right? Well, that's what happens when you lose principle. It's more important to have principle in your heart and mind than it is to have almost anything else. Well, I'm rambling on a little bit. I just wanted to let you know that I haven't forgotten, and I suppose I should be on here from time to time. But if you have time to spend with family and friends, ladies and gentlemen, I suggest you do it. They're coming for you. They're coming for us. What is it? They're figuring that 20 million people are going to receive eviction notices here the next 30 days because of this bullshit. Trump closing the economy down. You know what? He could not have been that stupid. But it was a good front. It was a good character. It was a good play that we have to do this, but only for a couple of weeks. And I said at the time, I said, they've got us where they want us now. Why would they let us out? I think the timetable has been moved up very quickly. And I think we're going to see some really horrible things happen in the next 2 to 3 months. Not just the Antifa and the BLM, who are Marxist, Maoist controlled organizations, but from our own government that has now enlisted itself in the government of Satan. Looks like the Khomeinis in Iran were correct all along, huh? Yeah, looks like it. Okay, that's all I got this morning. Like I said, maybe next week I'll be on either Tuesday or Thursday on a formal. I really want to talk about this principle thing because that's where we're lacking the most right now. Nancy, I want to thank you for those two. Well, actually, I thank you for all of your posts, but those last two were magnificent and they're true. And yeah, they're going to stir up people who don't want to believe that. You know, and like I said, I have some very, very good friends, Republican insiders, and they wouldn't want to hear that. But it's true, and we just have to face it. And I'm glad that you have the courage to do that. You and Mark Pantano, and there are a few others. I'm very disappointed with Alex Jones, of course. No, don't talk about Alex Jones. Don't talk about Alex. Alex talks about all the bad people in the government, but he just will not call out Trump. He just won't. Because he knows that he'll lose too many of his followers if he does that, and he'll lose his financial support, I suppose. And I can kind of understand that. But even he's saying it's time to head for the hills, time to go out in the country. I don't know if he'll really do it or not, but it is time. I don't know what the answer is. People tell me all the time, well, Roy, if you think it's so bad, what is your solution? Well, you see, That's kind of where we are. It says that man won't come up with a solution to this. There are two entities that are going to come up to solutions for this. One's an evil one that's going to promise you. As a matter of fact, I put this out on Twitter last night. When Jesus was tempted by the devil, his last temptation was he takes him up to a high mountain. He says, "Look, all of this I will give you." Isn't that what Trump said? I'm going to fix your 401ks. I'm going to make it economically good. You're going to do good temporally. That's that thing that the devil did to Jesus on the mountain. I will give all of this to you. It was always ours. They took it from us and then pretended to give it to us. So there are two entities. The evil side that's going to come up with a solution here in the very near future, present himself in the very near future and come up with a solution worldwide. And then the real one. I wish it was reversed, but it isn't. So keep your eyes on the horizon, your ears to the ground, your situational awareness on high. Yes, be armed. Prep, pray, stay out of the way. Take whatever defensive actions that you need to. This is going to be bad. And I'll probably see you next week, okay? But there are a lot of good people to listen to out there. Again, Nancy, Mark Pantano. I even like Dave Hodges, Gary Franke, of course, of Network News. There are just a lot of them. So it's not that you don't have a whole lot to select from. But I'm going to spend some time. Okay. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you later. All right, out here.